I call the member for Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on this questionable and spurious MPI. It is reprehensible that such drivel from those opposite is debated today when there are more important issues at play. But unsurprising, Labor chose another farcical stunt like this. As members, we all have our own opinions about who is a good leader and who is not. In fact, the very notion that each of the members here is here today demonstrates the opinions of their constituents. They may even think you're a good leader in their area. However, like my colleagues, I base my opinion of a good leader on actions and on merit. As Rudyard Kipling said, let each man be judged by his deeds. Merit is the very core of this MPI, mainly because it establishes what our Prime Minister has achieved so far. Today represents 1 year of leadership by Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull. Since assuming the position of Prime Minister, this government, under his leadership, has indeed achieved. A few examples that I'd like to share convey only a brief taste of just some of the achievements the Turnbull-led government has delivered. Under Prime Minister Turnbull, our economy and budget are strengthening. Economic growth has strengthened to 3.3%, and Australia's 870,000 incorporated small businesses, the engine room of our economy, supported by this side of the government, will be further boosted as a result of our changes, giving them a fair go at competing against big businesses. As well, we have delivered a crackdown on multinational tax avoidance, something the other side never delivered. Under Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, 220,000 new jobs in the past year alone have been created. 60% of those jobs have gone to women. The Turnbull government has delivered a defence industry plan. Not talked about it, not written papers, not had committees. They have delivered a defence industry plan, a $195 billion spend on defence capability of the next 10 years. They haven't ripped the heart out of the defence, which is what the Labor government did when they were in power. Our naval shipbuilding plan involves the construction of 54 new naval vessels, not one ever delivered by the other side, not one single dinghy delivered by the other side. And we will be using Australian steel for our new submarines and creating yet again more Australian jobs. The Turnbull government is investing in critical telecommunications infrastructure in regional Australia through the new NBN Sky Muster satellite and our $230 million mobile black spot program. We're already delivering 449 new or improved mobile phone towers covering 3,000 black spots left by Labor, with more to come. The Turnbull government has grown more export markets which have opened up. This means Australian small businesses have access to some of the fastest-growing consumer markets in the world. Beef and wine exports, just to mention two, have seen record growth. The Turnbull government is delivering healthcare. In the last year, there were 17 million more GP services bulk billed compared to Labor's last year in office. We have made many medicines cheaper and added life-saving drugs, including for breast cancer and melanoma, to the PBS. The Turnbull government is investing in more localised mental health care and support. This includes trialling innovative IT solutions and including 24/7 support, 12 suicide prevention sites around Australia and 10 more headspace facilities. The Turnbull government has implemented stronger laws to give our security agencies the tools they need and our troops the powers they need. The Turnbull government is building stronger communities. On the 1st of July this year, the coalition government began the full rollout of the National Disability Insurance Scheme. And let's not forget that it was the Turnbull government which delivered Senate voting reforms which have ended the days of backroom deals and press whispers determining election results rather than Australian voters. But of course the Labor Party do not want the Australian people to have a voice. That's why they're against the plebiscite. This non-exhaustive list demonstrates the Prime Minister's strong leadership in stark contrast to those opposite. Mr Deputy Speaker, the Coalition is a broad church with a congregation often with differing views, views that on this side we're allowed to discuss, not controlled by the faceless leaders of their union bosses to which they are all slaves. Unlike those opposite, the parties forming the coalition believe in democracy. Democracy that appointed Prime Minister has delivered his strong, determined leadership.